Senator Mike Lee, would you like to seize cartel assets as a privateer? My bill would allow the president to issue a letter of marque.
Yes.
Time to take these pirates down. No, Mike. Mike, rephrase that post. Would you like to be a pirate? Yes, I would.
Yes.
Give me a boat and a gun, and I'm storming those ships.
I legitimately have friends that saw this, and there's a group chat that we have, and they're like, bro, one of the dudes he was a Blackwater guy. He'd done private security and stuff, and he's yo, let's go.
We can finally put these Somalis to use. We can.
But why is he calling them the pirates, bro? When you're a privateer with a letter of marque, you are the pirate. That's the point. He should have said, would you like to be a pirate? Because now you literally can. And they should even give you a Jolly Roger to fly on your ship when they send you out with your letter of marque. Although no one really did that, but it'd be funny.
You imagine a bunch of rednecks on pontoon boats with Jolly Rogers flying. Like,
bro, could you imagine
airboats?
It's like 15 Appalachian dudes who were working with a PMC, and they bring in this massive tanker full of oil, and they're now worth $50 million. They're like, we got him, boys.
Eric Prince saw that, and I'm sure that he was just like, let's go, because he was talking about trying to get this off the ground recently.
Awesome.
Eric Prince, the guys in Blackwater, those dudes that are still capable, if they're like, man, we don't have an Iraq to go fight in. I had a great time. Let's go. And I'm not kidding. You can disagree and disapprove of this attitude, but there are dudes that have been to war that really want to go back.
So Eric Prince was on, it was a Bronze Age Perverts podcast, and he talked about at length how the world is entering sort of this PMC era. And it's actually kind of just a return to tradition where you had privateers, where you had mercenaries and these sorts of things. That's historically these colonial powers got things done. So we are heading into a world where if you're
want to get all these kids out of their basements and stroking off the porn and the lost generation, man. Give them a pirate's hat and go.
The total value of a full standard oil tanker on sea, $150 million.
That's generational wealth.
Bro, it's generation. We need to make a movie about this. It's just a handful of PMCs. Have you guys seen the movie? What is it? It's with Jason Statham, and he what is it called? Is it Working Man? Maybe.
I don't know.
He has a job as a security guard, and then the backstory is basically that he's a mob boss. He and his kid. He was staking out something for his team. Working Man. Yeah. It's these PMCs who are broke, and they're like, I missed the action, and so they stage a heist on armored vehicles to make money. You make a movie where it's these half-retired PMCs who are the jobs are just drying up, and then they see the bill passed, letters of marque being issued to seize Venezuelan tankers.
I'm going to blow the plot, but it should be that they get a tanker that has some super high-tech thing on board that the American government wants, and then they issue letters of marque for them, and they're on the run from the other pirates.
Okay,
you just gave somebody $100 million blockbuster movie.
I disagree. That's a terrible movie idea. That's awful. I think the movie's literally supposed to be, they are pirates.
No, you didn't listen if you thought it was awful.
Because the point of the letter of marque is to seize oil that is valuable. If you want to make Captain America where he flies from a helicopter and then fights Bartok, do it.
No,
I'm saying
you need a problem in the movie.
Not a sci-fi drama where they're trying to find the golden eye. I'm talking about a military movie where guys steal oil.
But you need something bad to happen in the movie for it to be good.
Well, yes,
something horrible has to change.
It's gotta be Pulp Fiction
in the middle of the movie.
Yeah,
bro, it's just like I mentioned, like Working Men. A group of PMCs are down on their luck. They can't find work. They get a letter of marque, and the movie is about them taking down a Venezuelan oil tanker for $50 million. And then the movie ends with them cashing out and fist bumping.
It could be if it's an action movie.
No, it's just free market Top Gun. It'd be great.
He's right.
It would be.
So, I would go see that movie. I would go see that movie.
No, yeah, I mean, we're entering that era. I mean, that's just the reality. If you look around, all of these PMCs emerging, because you saw in the 80s and 90s, you had people like Mark Thatcher, like Neil Ellis, who conducted these PMC activities in Africa, but it was at a very small scale. And then oftentimes, Western governments, the United States, France, the UK, would try to hamstring them as much as possible. Well, we're entering this new era where the Trump administration is really just taking the boot off of the neck of these guys who want to do these really cool, dramatic things in Africa. And then also, a lot of these African nations hire these PMCs because they're like, hey, we kind of like Western democracy. I don't know if we want you guys to impose it, but maybe you can help us develop it on our own. And so they utilize these PMCs to bring prosperity to these countries. And so I think we're actually entering a really exciting era of the world. And look, this would be a massive, again, another boot lifting off the neck, so to speak, for these guys if they can just get licenses to go and privateer in the Caribbean. I mean, he's so sick.
Mark. Then the Chinese and the
I'm doing
Russians
it for
will
the
probably
crown.
That's the thing is, this is why America's behind the ball, because the Chinese and Russians have been doing this for years. I mean, like Wagner Group, that's Wagner Group's main thing has been operating in Africa. And okay, they are associated with the Russians, at least in the Eastern European theater. But in Africa, the Wagner Group's basically just running loose. And they've pushed out like the French Foreign Legion, a lot of these British peacekeeping forces. They've just pushed them out because these dudes are just hungry.
So what happens if someone takes the letter, Mark, they go down to the Caribbean, they think they're doing good, they end up blowing up a civilian boat unintentionally? Are they considered like, hey, you're on your own now, you took the letter, if you mess up, you're dead and we're going to kill you?
Well, the U.S. wouldn't do the killing, but the U.S. would likely allow the government that of the people that
Venezuela.
And then would the U.S. government protect them if they got back to U.S. territory?
You don't actually need a letter of marque to storm and seize a Venezuelan ship.
Yeah.
Technically, that's true, of course.
Right. The letter of marque is protection within the United States.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if you go out and kill like innocent Venezuelans on the open sea, will they still protect you if you violate international law?
You're making an argument about specific circumstances of international incident, which could vary in a million different ways. If you accidentally, like, let's say there's a privateer warship, and it fires on a tanker, but misses and hits a small fishing vessel, there's going to be questions about whether it was a legitimate action sanctioned by the U.S. government, in which case they'll probably say you're fine. Now, if you're a PMC and you're like, we got a letter of marque, let's go kill civilians, they're going to lock you up.
Yeah. Yeah, we had an incident recently in the Congo where there was 2 Americans, and I think they had like a British buddy with them. And for a variety of reasons, the Congolese government, this is the DRC, so the big Congo, and for a variety of reasons, they sort of accused these guys of attempting a coup, which was crazy because there was like 3 of them and a few locals, and they executed the Americans. And I think, or the execution's pending. And as far as I can tell, the American government isn't really interested in intervening because they believe that the Congolese have like a valid reason to carry this out. So I think that's to say that I think the Americans, if this happened on foreign soil and they catch you, they just cut you loose.
Yep. I mean,
unless you make it back to Miami, then you're probably good. Because we don't have extradition treaty with Venezuela. Like there's no need for us to go to bat for them.
So I mean, and look, there are PMCs in the U.S. Like I said, Eric Prince is I don't know what his company's called now, but they're very capable. They have the weaponry that it would be required to do this type of stuff. They have a lot of the dudes that get out of the special forces or get out of direct action teams. They're like, man, it wasn't worth staying in the military because you don't get paid enough. But when I get done, I mean, I'll make $250K a year to go and do private military contracting. It's big bucks.
We already see. I mean, a lot of these guys, they just also can't get the fighting sort of thing. They have trouble reintegrating. These guys that have seen heavy combat have trouble reintegrating into society. So what you're seeing is like in the French Foreign Legion, for example, which is just they're called legionnaires. I'm sure everybody's familiar with the French Foreign Legion. Is I believe the makeup of the French Foreign Legion is like 50% Slavic. It's like former Yugoslavian guys, because these are dudes in the 90s and early 2000s who saw some like brutal combat. And then granted, the economies of their home countries were pretty bad. So not only did they have a tough time reintegrating into society because of what they saw, but they also had trouble finding jobs. So they just went and joined the French Foreign Legion because they were like, hey, that's at least going to give me a life beyond this. I'm having trouble reintegrating into society. So there's like a precedent set. Granted, I don't know in America if we have like a large enough volume of guys that have experienced that sort of thing. So you would have to incentivize them with like additional income and these sorts of things to really sweeten the deal.
I can just see the guys at Palantir just going, oh yeah,
here we go. That'll be a contract. Absolutely,
Orbital strike.
Like
a sky cannon. They're going to be like using like COD weapons on these guys.
Yeah, no joke.
They're going to pack a bunch of guns.
Yeah, I mean, it's the motivation is there. The PMCs have the capability, like I said, and also again, this is very lucrative because these guys can make a lot of money. I know a bunch of dudes that, back when it was Iraq and Blackwater and stuff, they were making 6 figures very easily, and 6 figures 15 years ago in Iraq is a lot of money. It's different than 6 figures nowadays,
Yeah. And the nice thing about the PMCs is that they actually are quite they tighten their ranks quite effectively. Not to, again, cite back to the French Foreign Legion, but one problem the French Foreign Legion had when they were operating in West Africa is they would recruit a lot of guys that were also from West Africa. Mm-hmm. So what happened is they would join the French Foreign Legion, get deployed back to their home countries, and they would just go and settle scores the entire time while they were there.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we have impunity because we have the FFL backing us. So the nice thing about PMCs is the ranks are super tight, and they like only hire special forces guys like these. So it actually lets these countries that would be hiring PMCs to be rest assured that these guys aren't going to act up and like start settling scores left and right.
Yeah.
And that happens in Africa. Like their militaries, they like deploy their domestic military, and the guys just abandon the mission. You instantly start burning villages down and stuff.
Go get the guys that have pissed me off for the past 50 years or whatever. So, but I do think that it's something that you will see in the future.
Oh yeah. No, we're heading into it, and it's a really exciting time. If you're like a young guy, you're looking for adventure, and you have that fighting spirit. I mean, there's an argument to be made that the U.S. military can't offer that for you anymore. So if there's like a private enterprise solution for that, where you can still get that experience in life, make some good money, and then actually have like missions and stories that are like cool.
Yeah,
and you could do that.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what kind of training they offer, because most of the time they pick up dudes that have already.
Yeah, so you got to go into like probably enlisted or whatever.
I got a question though. You know, you ever notice that you'll see like a couple walking down the street and they dress like each other? Yeah. You know about this? It's like a known phenomenon. And it kind of makes sense, right? If you're a guy who dresses like some like, I don't know, long-haired freaky person, and with maybe wearing like some kind of weird orange jacket or something, and you sound goofy when you talk.
Has some crazy person with him.
And then when he's dating someone, he has someone who looks just like he does. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, and it's that people adopt an identity, a style, from their culture, from where they come from, things that make sense. There is a largely American identity and American culture. The reason I bring this up is, you know, my wife and I are very, very, very similar. We grew up in almost the same place. We are both lapsed Catholic. We like the same music. It's probably why we got married. It's like we get along on all these things. We want the same things. We view the world very similarly. For these young guys now, the issue is they've not grown up with anybody. They don't have an external community where they build identity. They're watching weirdos on the internet who dress like, you know, anime waifus or something. So when they go and meet a woman in person, they're just, it's a repulsive force. They don't see the world the same way. They don't dress the same way. They don't find each other attractive. How are young guys going to accomplish anything if they're growing up this way?
They're deracinated. Yeah, I mean, that's like the perfect deployment of the word, because it's true. It's like, how do you get these guys who are fundamentally speaking? We were talking about the other day with music, how with Zoomers, men and women listen to completely different music. There's not any artists that have crossover appeal for both sexes, because Zoomer men and Zoomer women live in two completely different paradigms. Yeah. You'll see this phenomenon actually play out on Instagram. Is every once in a while I will get a reel that's like clearly targeted towards women, and then you'll see the comments, and then it'll be like a male on there. He's like, guys, I'm deep behind enemy lines. Like, I don't know what they're talking about. It's true. It's like, it really illustrates to the point is like, we have a very tough time relating to the other sex, because it's just two completely different worlds. And at this part, I mean, you're seeing in South Korea the divergence politically. I think that's where we're heading towards, is where men and women, not only do they not speak the same language, they don't really have any cultural touch points to share, but they legitimately do not view the world the same way fundamentally. I don't know how you make a marriage work in that instance.
Well, I mean, Rollo can talk to this. The damage that feminism has done to society just overall, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's been like a separation between men and women for a long time. It's like the boys on one side of the playground, the girls on the other side of the playground. And we're just seeing that play out in different factions right now, or different contexts, I guess. Yeah. So whether it's music or it's political affiliation, I mean, you guys have talked about this, I don't know how many times, the divide between men and women politically right now. And I think her name was Helen Andrews.
Helen Andrews.
Yeah, I'm sure you probably, So you probably already have heard her, was it a TED Talk or something like that?
She wrote in
where she was talking about how pretty much everything that we consider woke today is really part of the female psyche. So when women organize society, it's more in the round. It's more egalitarian. It's more because of the way, as human beings in hunter-gatherer tribes, women were the berry pickers and the gatherers, and men were the hunters, and they would go out. So when women organize societies, it's in a more egalitarian, communitarian way, because there's strength in numbers. They're the vulnerable sex. They are nurturing children. They're incubating babies. That's why women have that value. Men organize societies in hierarchies. So there's the admiral at the top and the general and all the down chain of command all the way down to the private, right? Or if we're talking about workplace, there's the CEO, the COO, the CFO, and on down to the janitor, right? So when men organize societies, it's based on hierarchies. And so, like for men, our hierarchies today are built around how you perform, like what are your achievements, what makes you respectable. And like I've been reading a lot of these stories lately about how we're going to teach these boys how to be respectful to women, right? Well, there's two different forms of respect. There's a hierarchical respect, which is what do you do that makes you respectable on that hierarchy, which is the way that men organize societies. And then there's everyone is deserving of respect, and you get some respect, and you get some respect, and you get some respect, and
which is the
participation
validation,
trophy, a version of respect where everybody sort of has this common thing, and that's more the female way of doing it. And so when people say we're going to teach boys to respect women, and it's like the boys are there going, what makes them respectable? Because that's their frame of reference, their natural frame of reference. So when we're talking about the divide about men and women coming together and having some things in common right now, I think one of the reasons why we're so separated in the sexes right now is because we fundamentally don't know how to organize like our own separate tribes right now. That's why you see more women gravitating towards liberal, wokesy, side of the political spectrum, and you see way more men coming over. And I don't think it's ever been as the contrast has never been as stark as it is right now.
So repeal the 19th?
God, I hate that question because like it's redundant to me at this point.
I don't want to repeal the 19th.
I don't either because I don't think it's tenable, and I hate when people go, well, don't you think we should do that if we just repealed the 19th or we took women's rights away, everything would change. I'm like, okay, first of all, how are you going to do that? That's like it's like we're going to have a revolution and anarchy. Okay, what's your plan on restructuring society after that? Right? Like if you want to go out and like fuck things up, okay, good, go do that. But what happens afterwards? What's your plan after that?
I think would be my pitch is a very simple solution. And actually, I was interviewing with Vivek Ramaswamy, and this is where the idea came from. It might be his idea. Require everybody to apply for selective service, and then you receive a voter ID. It's not a guarantee of solving the problem,
get in the game,
but it's a large inhibitor because you go to Times Square and you'll see some like random, just like urban street guy. Maybe he's got a fanny pack with some dollar bills in it, and you'll be like, "You want to vote?" He'll be like, "Yeah, sure." And you'll be like, "Just sign up for the draft." He'll go, "Nah," and he's out.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.